Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we've got new details on the arrest of Jeffrey Epstein. So I'm just going to get right into those details so we can get into some of the bigger nuances of this case. It appears that they picked him up in Teterboro Airport in Jersey, okay, on his way back from Paris, France, and while this was going on, they broke his door down at his New York mansion somewhere, I believe, around 6:30. This all started to unfold, and reports are that there were men and agents at his residence till 2 a.m. Let's read some of this. Jeffrey Epstein was charged with sex trafficking on Saturday by federal prosecutors with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan, according to an individual who is familiar with the proceedings. The same individual said that Epstein, 66, will make his first court appearance on Monday in New York, confirming a report that appeared on the Daily Beast. We went over that report last night, but we're going to kind of highlight some of the things that are going on there and some possible connections to this case. Because remember, we were reading the documents just yesterday in full. And we were showing you parts of Dershowitz's testimony. We were showing you part of the co-conspirators that were alleged in some of these lawsuits and named the names. And some of those names end up in that Daily Beast article. And remember, the promises that were given to these girls were things like the Fashion Institute of Technology, modeling agencies, the art world, all of which Epstein was heavily connected to. It has been reported for the past few months that Epstein was being investigated on unknown charges by the Southern District of New York. Bravo. Epstein was taken into custody after his private jet touched down from France on Saturday at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. Around the same time, agents with the FBI were seen breaking down the door to his Upper East Side mansion to execute a search warrant in the case. I hope and pray that they got some real deal evidence there. I really do. Guys, this could be big. If they were able to get a computer, a hard drive, even telephones, phones are computers there that have this information that can be unlocked. This could be a whole new ball game. And remember, when we're talking about other people that were named in these new unsealed documents, not just Ghislaine Maxwell, but, I want to go over some of those names. Sarah Kellen is very, very much a name that we saw there. Let's get that out of there. Let's see. So, again, if you look at this, there's so many of these people. Remember, they were given new identities, some of these women, all the way back in 2010 when they were supposedly just being questioned. They weren't being named as co-conspirators. And the thing is, the way Epstein handled this is that he had a hierarchy of women. And by the way, some of them still couldn't find Leslie Groff's face, but she's barely talked about. There's a couple other ones. Natasha, again, watch my other videos because I don't want to mispronounce their names. But they had aliases, all of it. And the Daily Beast article really breaks down a lot of how this works. And even a guy named Jean-Luc Bissell, who Dershowitz is questioned about, who's running a modeling agency, and Guthrie Roberts says provided Epstein with girls as young as 12. And Epstein had claimed to be with over 1,000 women, and from what she saw, she had no reason not to believe him. Okay? So again, we're actually going to show you a video of the broken down door of his mansion. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike for that. Let's see. DailyMail.com obtained exclusive photos which show the aftermath of the search, including Epstein's damaged and splintered door. Groups and unidentified men were seen coming and going at the property as late as 2 a.m. last night. And there's his front door there. This is his main madam, according to all accounts. In fact, even Dershowitz says when he first met Epstein, and we're going to talk about the timeline that Dershowitz says he met Epstein, because it seems like he's being deceptive if you believe Maria Farmer, by the way. Oh, Daily Mail, you always got to start those videos, don't you, right in the corner. So, Maxwell, Kellen, Groff, Natasha, all these different women basically recruiting and grooming. We had, Haley Robson was another one that's been accused in these lawsuits. Sir, a security guard and a nearby building told DailyMail.com that between 20 to 25 law enforcement officials showed up at Epstein's home at around 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. Most of these were FBI agents, the security guard said. They were accompanied by several officers, both uniformed and plainclothed from the NYPD. Let's see. The guard told DailyMail.com that it took them approximately 10 to 15 minutes before they could pry the door open. The front entrance appears to be outfitted with fingerprints and voice print technology for security purposes. Isn't it nice that Jeffrey Epstein has that state-of-the-art biometric security over at his mansion of horrors, if you will? Unbelievable. The guard says that the house, since the raid, more law enforcement personnel arrived at the home where they are expected to work well into Sunday morning. The guard, who identified himself as Torn, said he would see Epstein there once or twice a month. He said that 2 weeks ago he noticed someone on the street taking photographs of Epstein's residence. So again, here's some of the aftermath. Here's some of the people going in, doing the raid. Let's look at the video and hopefully not get a strike. So here you go, is Jeffrey Epstein's residence. You can see that they smashed the door in right there. I don't really think we need much more than that. You get the picture. So, guys, again, this is a big move. When we look at this case, I want to scroll down to the Maria Farmer stuff. Let's see. There we go. So, Maria Farmer is somebody that kind of brought her name out and was of age when she got involved with Epstein. But she alleges that she was also the door girl there. By the way, Leslie Wexner, was, I guess, one of the only known client of Jeffrey Epstein at the time, this billionaire hedge fund manager with all these connections and nobody knows why. I've done some videos on Epstein way back in the day, a couple years back at We Are Change. You can check out, his bizarre biography. But, Wexner, Victoria's Secret, he was the only client, right? And Farmer, who's an art girl, she's working the door and she's taking the names of everybody. And what does she say? Oh, well, a lot of underage girls in school uniforms. It's right here. We're coming in and taking pictures. And she says this is in 1995. Now, Dershowitz has tried to paint that he did not know Epstein until like 98, 99, somewhere in that range, because he doesn't want people to believe that Maria Farmer is telling the truth. Because she says that not only, let's just read it. Some of the visitors, Farmer claimed, were underage girls in school uniforms who would be led to an upstairs bedroom for what Maxwell called interviews for modeling positions. Farmer witnessed Epstein's lawyer and friend Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz head upstairs where the girls were present, the affidavit stated. So she's more in line with Virginia Roberts, period. And again, Farmer says that she was assaulted by both Maxwell and Epstein at Wexner's home. It was a complete ordeal. Did a video on that, again, back with We Are Change. If you want to see extensively, guys, one of the largest troves of this type of information on Epstein, Dershowitz, there's some Disney thrown in there, R. Kelly, these rings. It's mainly Epstein. And we have a whole nother playlist for Nexium. Please go check that out after this video. However, let's focus back in on Farmer's allegations, because we talked about Jane Doe 43. Again, there's a whole video on Jane Doe 43. Jane Doe 43 gets involved because of the Fashion Institute of Technology. She wants to be in the fashion industry, the modeling industry, all that stuff. She's promised all these things. She's really just used as an underage sex toy. Okay? And that's where you find out about the hierarchy of women that were recruiters. And some of these girls were still underage when they were recruiting, unfortunately. Some of them were in community college and they'd go groom the local high schools and middle schools. Pretty disturbing stuff. Okay? So Farmer's allegations are out there. The allegations of what happened to her sister are out there. They obviously were trafficking all over the place. And let's see if this is it right here. If you take a look at this right here. Look at this ring. It's incredible. This is the reality of what we know about. And it could very well be even worse than this. But these are what the actual flight logs show. And, I want to get this out of the way. We got a little bit of an audience here. A lot of people are talking, well, Trump only went there once. What are you talking about? You have no idea what their relationship was before the Mar-a-Lago incident. Okay? We don't know. And I'm not accusing him of being a child predator or anything like that. You got to stop yourself. You got to understand. This network was not only 12-year-olds, but all the way up to like 25. Kept a lot of these women on leash. And if you look at Maxwell herself, still by his side to this day. She's well beyond 25, guys. Okay? Well beyond it. So what happens here is that people want to kind of conflate the information about Trump. They want to go one way or the other. Bradley Edwards, who's the lawyer that beat Trump, says that he actually, it was reported in 2016 that he was going to have him come in for a video deposition. But instead of that, Trump just immediately called him and told him everything that he said he knew. And Edwards believed him, and he used that information. So he was never called in any of these court documents. So let's start there. All right? And he was bold enough to invoke his name against Bill Clinton in that interview with Sean Hannity on the way up to the 2016 election. However, he did have Epstein on his plane. He was obviously at his home more than one time. Dershowitz would not swear in court that he saw Trump at Epstein's home unless he did. Okay, let's be honest. And to think it was just the one time that Roger Stone talks about, that's spin. That's what that is. Remember, Trump's hanging out with Prince Andrew, who, as you can see, guys, London, Paris, just got arrested on his way back from Paris into Jersey. London's another part of this. They're much closer than you think. Trump's in Europe. Who's he hanging out with? Andrew. And in that deposition, again, Dershowitz tries to defend the actions of Andrew if they allegedly happened because the assailant, the person that was alleging this, was 17 at the time, and the age of consent there is 17. That's how these lawyers work in legalese. Okay? So, once again, we're hoping this is going to go well beyond New York. We hope that it's not just the underlings, and that, again, we're going through all these unsealed documents. There's plenty of them. There's a lot more to go through. I have a lot to do. In fact, people are, let me see if I can go to my Twitter here. People are, there's a lot of Epstein, are pointing out the fact, and we're going to get to Kevin Spacey in just a second, because Kevin Spacey, buddy with Bill Clinton for decades, both on the logs of what we know. And let's stop that too. So let's go back to Trump for a second, because I do want to make that point. When we talk about these flight logs, go check out the Dershowitz testimony. We have a fraction of flight logs from one pilot on one plane. Let me say that again. We have a fraction of flight logs from one pilot on one plane. Now, we know there was at least one helicopter. There's a possibility of two helicopters. Okay? We also know there was a possibility of another private jet. We also know there were at least two other pilots we have no flight logs from. And Dershowitz, in his deposition, says, "Oh, I'd love to get them because they would prove I was never on the plane." That's what I want to do. I'm sure you do, Dershy. I'm sure that's why those flight logs have never manifested themselves. So, again, we don't have flight logs of Trump being on that plane, but we do have pretty much confirmation that Trump said to Epstein and Maxwell as they were coming on his plane while he had Melania with him that you broke the cardinal rule, Jeffrey. You're never late for somebody else's plane. And don't take my word for it. That was published well before all these allegations, all the way back in like 2000. So again, they broke off in the Mar-a-Lago incident. It's documented in the book Filthy Rich. We're not sitting here trying to conflate this situation. We're trying to talk about what we know. And Bradley Edwards, the lawyer who's still representing Roberts and others, okay, beat Epstein in court after almost a decade. Epstein had to sign a statement, give him an undisclosed amount of money, and Edwards says that Trump gave him information, cooperated, and he didn't believe he was a part of it. That's all I can say. So, moving on. I want to point out that a lot of the depositions that are coming out from the witnesses, people are pleading the fifth. Sorry, there's some UFC in there, guys, but it was a great card last night. All right, Dershowitz was trending. It was just, what a night. It's just unbelievable. But a lot of people were taking the fifth in regards to whether or not they saw Bill Clinton with underage girls. And I'm not accusing Bill Clinton of that either until we see some more evidence of it, obviously, and these are still just documents. Everybody needs their day in court. But when you look at the power of this, and you understand that those flight logs are just a piece, and that those little black books that were snuck out by the butler were just a piece. Remember, this is an international ring. Let's say it again. An international ring. Look at the flights. Okay? Look at this. Santa Fe, St. Louis, Teterboro, Bangor, Stephenville, London, Paris, Grenada, Tangier, Bahamas, West Palm Beach, San Antonio. Which one? This one, Adion must be in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I mean, come on. It's all here. This is the ring. This is a big ring. And we don't have those black books. I'm hoping we got some real digital records right now. That's what we need. So I mentioned Kevin Spacey, and it could just be a coincidence. Where is it? Why can't we find this? Oh, this is that Natalia girl right here. By the way, Natalia Malchev, she has AKAs. Remember I was telling you all these girls got new identities all the way back in 2010 in these weird non-prosecution agreements for helping groom women for Epstein. But she's 37 years old, and she's still in the fashion industry. Yeah, no big deal. You know, and this is Sarah Palin with what appears to be a very young Cindy Lopez. Weird. There's Palin again. So a lot of this stuff was out there, but again, this is what? 2015 this one was published. And back in, again, I think 2010, they were given new identities right there, yeah. Just awesome. Just great. So Spacey here, he's got 6 new allegations against him. He was answering to Scotland Yard about stuff in London. Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that that just happens to be one of the places and very close to where Epstein just came from? I don't know. It very well could be. But this is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And we've talked about the fact that they were still investigating this according to the new unsealed documents back in 2015, according to lawyers, where Guthrie Roberts met them at a consulate, I believe, in Australia and gave them verifiable information. So this is legit, guys. And remember, they raided his house. If you're just joining us, we showed video of them breaking down the door. This all started at 6:30 p.m. when they arrested him on the tarmac in New Jersey, come back from Paris, France. They're supposed to be there all the way through Sunday, taking stuff out. Monday, he will be in court in Manhattan, and I'm trying to go. As everybody knows that has watched me, I do a monthly GoFundMe. That's how I'm starting to do this, of $5,000 a month. Now, if I can push that somewhere really good by tomorrow or tonight, you got to understand, court's really early. I don't live in New York City. I have to rent a car. I don't know if I'd stay. I'd want to bring somebody with me. It's probably like a $300 to $500 trip. Maybe if we can get this up to $4,000 or beyond $5,000, because again, I've talked about I want to go on location, but these trips are a lot more expensive than people think. New York City I was just at MSG. It's the worst, but it doesn't matter. I really want to be there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. If I can't, I'm going to see about possibly getting somebody on the ground to get footage outside of the Manhattan courtroom so we see whether they release them. Because I hope they don't release them. But guys, if you can support me, I really appreciate it. All those that have, thank you so much. You're making this work. And I thank you. We're doing 30 to 50 videos on real subjects, guys. That's what we're doing. I don't promise anything else. It's not a Skype session. It's real issues. We talk about the rings over in the UK, Jimmy Savile, Edward Heath. We talk about Iran policy, DARPA. Is Israel and Syria, what's going on there? Disney. You know, we had a Disney star just drop dead today. Another child actor, 20 years old. You know, my kids used to watch him. We talked about the Bella Thorne incident there. We go deep on Nexium. And that's another fear of mine. You know, Epstein's looking at up to 45 years for the 2 charges that we know about from this sealed indictment. We may know more and more charges on Monday. I have no idea. I mean, we're already at Sunday, folks. And here's the thing. With that, you look at Claire Bronfman in the Nexium case, right? And everything's kind of been pushed over to Keith Raniere. Everybody else almost has cut a deal. She put $14.3 million down on everybody's legal defense fund. Herself can only be sentenced to 21 to 72 months, I believe. And she can't do beyond 27 months or she can appeal. and she's going to pay $6 million in restitution. Pretty light slap on the wrist for what she was involved with in NXIVM, where admittedly she was a part of Hillary Clinton's campaign fraud of 2007, where they were having NXIVM members just take the max amount they could donate, then pay them back through Nancy Salzman or Claire Bronfman, allegedly in these documents, okay, and then buy political influence with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton also happened to be mentored by their father, Edgar Bronfman. Edgar Bronfman got the American Medal of Freedom from Bill Clinton. He wasn't just a billionaire magnate through the Seagrams and the entertainment industry, but he was also the head of the World Jewish Congress. This is all real stuff. So Bronfman, slap on the wrist. We know that Epstein, we can't even believe what happened. Now, there are good people in this government. Props to the DOJ for actually doing this. Now, I don't know what Barr is going to be able to do because he had to recuse himself of everything Epstein from the previous investigation because he worked at a law firm while they were defending Epstein in the Palm Beach case. But now this is a new case. Perhaps he won't. Perhaps we're actually going to get justice. We give credit where credit is due. So props to the DOJ on this one. I was very disappointed earlier in the week. You saw the videos. I was pissed. So we'll see. So guys, if you're not subscribed, you want the very latest on Jeffrey Epstein, DARPA, NXIVM, Iran, you name it, from a non-biased, no bullshit perspective. It's not about left or right. It never has been. You conservatives and liberals out there, you got a lot more in common with each other than the people at the top that Epstein associates himself with. I promise you that, 100%. So we should be working together, shouldn't we? So now's the time to subscribe, share this stuff on social media, thumbs it up, join the Burmese Brigade. Please, let's make this happen. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos. I got an interview with Tony Gosling later. Be talking about Brexit, the upcoming election of the Prime Minister, and more. And then Dylan Avery's also going to join me for an hour, the creator of Loose Change and one of my old buddies who I worked with on those films. He's going to come in for an hour-long AMA, and we're going to be doing some videos probably on this and more, possibly some more deep dives into the unsealed Epstein documents. So be on the lookout. We're doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos a day sometimes, 30 to 50 videos a week with your help over on this GoFundMe. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Big victories right now. Big mother trucking victories.